Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I wanted to touch on a subject that I see a lot and people ask a lot, and this is my own personal perspective on the issue. And the question is, why are malls and retail buildings in general in such a state of decline currently? And I'm going to touch on a number of subjects. I think it mostly boils down to like poor management, changing times, which is a broad category, so we'll get into that. And kind of the separation of retail. So as we kind of go into it, the first one I would like to kind of address is the changing times and like location. So if there's a mall that's being built in a specific region, and then the region has a economic collapse, or there's changing demographics or lower income areas around, it can kind of make the mall worse over time and kind of have the stores there either leave or be attracted to different newer malls nearby. And that's a pretty simple, pretty easy explanation to understand. And that happens, especially if you look at like Pennsylvania, there was tons of malls built kind of like all around each other and without really much thought. You can see malls that are built in like very rural areas, and that kind of creates there's not enough people there to go to them. And of course, when you build a new building, people are going to go for a little while, most uh, usually, because it has that like new and cool factor. But it's more than that. It's like the future, long term feasibility of a shopping center that you kind of have to um, keep a lookout for when you're placing these. The next one I'd like to talk about a little bit is, which is my main reason why I think they're failing, is it's poor management. So obviously, department stores in general, especially if you're in like the Kmart and Sears space, you know that those have poor management. You know the story of Eddie and the whole company. But when these places go into your mall and they leave your mall can become very distressed, or even if it's in, like I mentioned earlier, a lower income area, it can become distressed. And this doesn't automatically mean that the mall just has to fail. It just means you need to adapt and create a better shopping experience for the type of people you are trying to appeal to. So if it's a lower income area, maybe try to appeal to like mom and pop shops or like outlet businesses. Um, but I feel like a lot of these companies now, like even if you look at main ones, like back when malls were first built, they used to have like lamp posts and cool floors and cool ceilings, and now you just see a lot of white everything, very boring. Creates kind of a not pleasant customer atmosphere. When you're creating a shopping center, your focus should be mostly on keeping people in the building and enjoying themselves. Because if people are there enjoying themselves, they will have some sort of like intention to buy stuff if they're looking around and seeing stuff. You don't want to bring people there to shop, you want to bring people there to have fun, and then shopping comes alongside that. And I feel like that's switched a lot with some management firms. I'm not going to name specific names of these next companies, but you can probably guess them if you're in the space. And if you're not in the space, you can research them. But there are companies that when a mall is struggling or the main owner kind of goes bankrupt, they'll take these malls up for basically nothing, foreclosure auctions, and they'll buy them for the land value, hike up the rent super high, and just run the mall into the ground for very short term profit. And this is happening all around the country. Like hundreds of these malls are now owned by these people, and you might even live near one. Like these malls aren't just destined to fail, it's that the management has zero care in the world. Usually, also as a documenter of history, these are the malls that give you the most pushback for documenting history, mainly because what they're doing in cases is borderline illegal with some of the safety like violations that they have. So I'd say that's probably kind of the main one with that group. But I think when you own a mall, you really need to kind of appeal it to the area. And there's not enough companies now that are looking into the area and trying to find what mall would go best. They're just doing their basic script, or they just do nothing. And that's kind of upsetting to see because there's always misconceptions. There's like, oh, well, young people just don't like malls, or malls are failing because of online shopping. And those might be parts of the issue, but they're definitely not even close to the main problems. Another reason that I'll touch on is getting your stores all together, right? So when malls were around, they kind of create their own retail corridors frequently. And across the street, you get your like Lowe's, your Walmart, kind of like in like a power center, like a large strip mall. And these stores, if I was a mall owner, I would try to keep these stores in the mall because it's a convenience factor, right? So when people like want to go to a mall, they have to park and it can be kind of annoying. But if you have a mall that has good curb appeal and is easy to get to and safe, people are more likely to go there. And when all your retail stores are in one area, it makes it easier. So this isn't good when your mall's beginning to struggle. And let's say you put in a new like Walmart and Walmart closes off their mall entrance. Not good for the mall at all. Good for Walmart, I guess, because they don't have to have two security doors. But like a lot of these bigger chains, they don't care at all about your local malls. So you need to like get like a grocery store in there, get places that people legitimately want to go to when your mall starts to struggle. Yeah, so this is my quick like video. I don't know what you think, but hopefully that answers some of your questions. Wait, one more thing I wanted to mention. A lot of malls that are being closed currently don't, in my opinion, need to be closed. Like if we look at like the mall at Fox Run or Lakeside Mall, these malls are doing okay. They're struggling, but like they're definitely savable. But the companies just decide that they would rather build luxury apartments and stuff. So I think that's another reason too.